Greetings, viewers. I'm Sci-Fi Cat. Yes, we're talking about The Witcher. Yes, I've read all the books, and that will be a factor in this review. And most of all, yes, burned fur is a bitch to clean. The Witcher Season 2 was released this winter, and the new season incorporated aspects from a few different old Witcher series books, including but not limited to The Last Wish, again, The Blood of Elves, and, wait for it, the final book, The Lady of the Lake. We'll be looking at that feat of time travel more in a bit. Now, when it comes to adherence to the literature, The Witcher uses what I have dubbed magpie storytelling. The writers of the episodes pluck out what they find nice and shiny from the books and then weave it together with show-only elements to make a cohesive story. Whether or not it all holds together, this is yet to be seen. For a book reader, the method makes for a jarring experience to hear dialogue or see scenes from one book being used completely out of context or out of order. For example, this scene...
What was between you and Geralt? Longing? Regret? Hope? And fear? I don't think I've omitted anything. So, you love him too?
In the book happens at Meliteli's temple, where Yennefer is teaching young Ciri about magic, which in the show is now happening in the 3rd season, but happened in the 2nd book. And this...
Geralt, do you know what to do with this? Sorry.
Ciri.
Sorry.
This is my dear friend.
Was an epistolary, look it up, exchange, and a very funny one at that. Another sloppy book picking was the story of Nivellen. Honestly, I wish they had just left this one alone because the show, like the book, relates how Nivellen committed a rape of a priestess. But in the book, Nivellen is redeemed and shown not to be a true monster after all, whereas in the episode A Grain of Truth, a title it shares with the Nivellen chapter in The Last Wish, he is wholly condemned by Geralt and Ciri, who summarily turn their backs on him in disgust when they discover this part of Nivellen's history. The ending of this episode speaks to an overall loss of moral ambiguity in Season 2, a theme that made Season 1 intriguing and thought-provoking. Wasn't that the whole challenge posed by Princess Renfri?
They created me just as they created you.
Are monsters born or made? Moreover, is a monster always a monster? And is it one's actions or intent that makes someone monstrous? None of these themes are present in The Witcher Season 2. Morality is kept cut and dry between good and evil. Monsters, evil. Humans and mages, coin toss. Elves, good, until they turn righteously good, then evil.
What has been need not always be.
The long and short is that there is no gray or complexity of motivation. Speaking of motives, I must address Yennefer's, because she has only one and it makes her borderline unwatchable. It's power.
What more do you want? Everything.
Yennefer's sole desire in her on-screen depiction is for power. This lust may take many incarnations, but it boils down to the same basic drive. Let's recount her striving for power in Season 1. 1. She wanted the strongest court influence to affect regional politics right out of Aretuza. 2. Dissatisfied with that, she wanted to capture and assimilate the power of a genie. 3. What triggered her to unleash hell on Sodden Hill? Tissa's challenge to Yennefer that she would have the power over history. And what did she use? 4. Firepower. Tapping into the strongest and most dangerous types of chaotic magic you can use in their world. Now, I know some of you will argue that part of her search for power was fueled by her desire to be a mother. But did she really want to be a mother, or did she just want power over her own ability to create life? It's hard to imagine this Yennefer as a mother, willing to sacrifice anything for another being. This brings us up to date to Season 2. To almost prove my point for me, the show writers ham-fistedly have Yennefer lose her actual magical abilities, then have her struggle throughout the season to try and regain them. Once again, she is seeking power, her literal faculty for magical power, and nearly sacrifices Ciri to a demon to do so. However, the one shred of human decency Yennefer has keeps her from completing the act. And remember how I said it's hard to believe that this Yennefer would sacrifice herself for anyone? Well, when Yennefer did have her Jesus moment back in the season finale, I don't know that it was really to save Ciri, but to get her own powers back by having the demon, a potent magical entity, inhabit her body, its presence restoring her magical abilities, which is what ultimately happened. What makes Yennefer redeemable, if that's the word, is the actress's fantastic portrayal of Yennefer in the smaller moments of tenderness, such as when she sees Jaskier, the first friendly face, after a rough and harrowing journey, or Yennefer's affection for Geralt, which, might I add, feels very mismatched because Geralt doesn't give a Kikimora shit about power and influence. So their attraction doesn't work for me in the show the way it did in the books, where Yennefer was much more dynamic and their compatibility more natural. Moving on to Jaskier.
What for ya?
Now we have one of, if not the, best characters of the show practically shoehorned into the season. First, he suffers an awkward mid-season reintroduction as an ersatz refugee smuggler, a storyline that is completely unnecessary. His character was essentially cut loose and fancy-free at the end of Season 1. Couldn't we have followed Jaskier on his exploits in parallel to those of Geralt and Yen? He's a famous, well-traveled bard with potential to go anywhere and, I don't know, maybe do some world building, flesh out some of the inter-kingdom relationships, then have him reunite with Yennefer when Rience tries to press him for information about Geralt. Jaskier is furthermore squeezed into the remainder of the episodes by being given nonsense to do. I cringed at the whole hold on to the rock while the rest of us fight part in the season finale.
Geralt? Yennefer told me to... Shh. You busy?
Give the gallant something legitimate to do for Cat's sake! The Rock wasn't funny and felt like a last-minute addition to include Jaskier, aka sloppy writing. Moreover, it was distracting from the action and demeaning to an excellent character. Finally, and here there be spoilers, Dooney. Oh, why did they reveal that Dooney was her father at the end of Season 2, when this is something slowly built up to in the books until the final book, The Lady of the Lake? In the books, the mystery of who exactly Emperor Emhyr var Emreis, leader of Nilfgaard, the White Flame, is a thread woven throughout the series along with why he is chasing Ciri. Now all that tension is blown, spent on a cheap second season ending reveal. How are they going to relate all the stuff that happens connecting Dooney, the Dooney that everyone thought died in a shipwreck, and the Dooney that is now Emperor of Nilfgaard? You know, the stuff that took 7 books to reveal? Are they just going to relate it all in a flashback? A long monologue? Because, spoiler, it wasn't as easy a thing to pull off, and the story starts even before he was the Hedgehog Knight courting Ciri's mother, Pavetta. Do you even remember that from Season 1? The move to reveal Dooney as not only alive but in fact the Emperor of Nilfgaard felt like an act of desperation to me, almost as if the showrunners were afraid of losing the audience. Maybe they were worried that since this season didn't have the multiple timelines, the audience would be disappointed and lose interest. However, they could still have played with the timeline through Ciri's nascent presage abilities. You could first show her vision of things to come and give a sense of déjà vu when it really happens to the characters, but with slight changes, thereby also making you question if she really sees the future at all. It's just an idea. Still, given the show's immense popularity, I would have thought the showrunners would have felt more secure than needing to do such a dramatic, and in my opinion premature, reveal regarding Dooney's identity and Ciri's parentage. So, Season 2. Was I disappointed? Yes. Will I stop watching? No. There is still hope for the show, but overall I felt Season 2 did not live up to Season 1 for reasons previously stated. I anticipate more magpie storytelling with the show drawing away from the literature more and more as they progress. And that's okay. They are in the end two separate creative works. It's just frustrating when they abandon the book for something that's not as good. What do you think? Should movies adhere more to books, or should they be respected as two separate works altogether? Let me know in the comments. Hammer down the subscribe button if you like what I'm meowing about, and ding the ding-dong to receive updates about new videos. Well, in the spirit of The Witcher, I have a monster to slay that has cleverly disguised himself as a stuffed pickle. I have 2 claws, one of silver and one of steel. And pounce!
Where the fuck are my swords?